Just another brother with another humble question. Just another brother with another humble question.
Welcome to another episode of A Brother with Questions. I am your host, B. Period. Man, I thank you guys for joining me today. We got an interview today, but before we get to the interview, let me not forget to tell you, please like, subscribe to the channel. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, Castbox. Wherever you're listening, man, go check us out. Click like, subscribe. Don't forget to share too. Share it with your friends. Let you know what your friends listening to. But let's get to our interview here. Today, man, I got a guest who's joining me. He goes by the name Mike Dolvin, formerly Mike Air. Go ahead and introduce yourself for me, sir.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Mike. Y'all can call me Mr. Mike. People call me Mr. Mike because we're getting a little bit as OG status. So we're getting older. So I got people my same age call me Mr. Mike. I don't know why, but that's me. I'm Mike.
That's it. That's
Got a
all you
lot to
got.
say. Yeah, it's just me. It's just Mike, man.
It's just Mike. Okay,
Mike.
Mike.
You know.
So I brought Mike on. As you guys are, I'm sure you're aware, they've been celebrating 50 years of hip hop, and Mr. Mike was there in the beginning, really, because they're subscribing about 19. Well, they say 1983, right? Is what they're saying. Are they saying
No.
1983? Or they're saying 1973, aren't they? That would be 50
Yeah.
years, right?
Yeah.
1973 would be 50 years. Okay. So Mike was around. When you started, Mike? That's where we're gonna start. What year would you say? Well, let's do this. What year did you first get introduced to hip hop?
Oh gosh, that would be. You know what? Let's do this. My first memory of a block party
Okay.
was in my grandparents lived. Well, I was born in Queens, New York. Jamaica, Queens, New York. I was born in Jamaica Hospital. And so my grandparents lived in Springfield Gardens, Queens, which is it's right near oh goodness, we got St. Albans, Springfield Gardens, Laurelton. What would you know? Like where Run DMC and them is from? It's near it's near there. Like Farmers Boulevard. You hear LL Cool J talk about Farmers Boulevard. That's not too far from where my grandparents lived. And so my aunt, who's 8 years older than me, I would tag along with them sometimes. I had two aunts actually, three total, but on my father's side, who then that's the part of the family that lived in Queens, and she would let me tag along with her sometimes, like a little brother. The other aunts were a little older, but she took me to some. It was real loud. I think I was only maybe 9, 8, and these guys had turntables and house speakers and nothing real fancy, and on tables, folding tables, out in front of their house in the street, and it was just playing music, and people dancing in the street. And this is oh gosh, this is probably 1978. It's probably
1970.
it's probably around 1978,
You remember any of the songs they were playing?
77. It's disco stuff.
Disco stuff. Okay.
It's just disco. It's for 70. It's probably 77, 78. And that's what hip hop is, man. Rap music is the birth child of disco. You know, that's the baby daddy. Hip hop is disco is hip hop's baby daddy. I don't know who disco got with. It was probably like jazz or funk, right? You know, funk and disco had a kid, and it
J
became
hip
rap
hop.
music. Yeah, it's funk
Rap
and disco.
music. Okay.
It's funk and disco. Look
Okay.
at how dudes used to dress. Look how Africa Bambaataa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm skipping. I'm sorry, Jimmy. I mean, I'm sorry, B. Period. We go back a little ways. We go back a little ways. But B,
I got you.
man,
So first block party in the set around 78. And
78,
so you 8
and
or
then
9 at the block party, blown away by all of these people sitting here enjoying this music. Okay. All
hmm
right. So fast forward to what's the first record you remember then?
um rap wise is Curtis Blow.
Mm-hmm.
Curtis Blow stuff was on the radio. You know, of course Sugar Hill Gang, you know, all of that's when I'm coming out of elementary school. Um,
Okay.
you know, I'm coming, you know, like fifth grade, fourth and fifth grade, getting ready to go to middle school. And then that's when it got serious because middle school, you know, you're getting older, you paying them a little bit more attention. You got a little bit more of your own stuff going on. But you know, you just had that old school stuff, man. I remember Buffalo Gals. Y'all, if y'all know that song, um, three Buffalo Gals going round the outside, round the outside, round the outside. Y'all, if y'all know that, I
Yeah.
don't know. Am I that old? Am I that old? But
When you said the lyrics, I knew what you were talking about. But
so
I'm a little different too, because I honestly, for me, and we're gonna get back to your story, but for me, I didn't really get into, if you will, rap music or anything like that until high school for me,
mhm.
because
Well,
we
yeah,
were the church kids.
that's when it took off.
So when we were as the church kids, you know what I'm saying. You know how it was back in the day. You can play none of that music in the house, and they definitely weren't buying it. They weren't going to take me to the store to buy the record. So it wasn't until I got to be 16, 17, and then I could go buy my own stuff because I had a job that I began to kind of trickle in. So for
Yeah.
me,
Yep.
my hip hop really began in about, I would say, like 1991, 92. That's where it kind
Okay.
of began for me. But I'm sorry, back to you. So I wouldn't know Buffalo Girls was the point I was trying to make, because I didn't go back at that point. We never go back really.
Well, you
You kind of
still
start from the place where you at.
but you have um uh Africa Bambaataa and you know, and the Soul Sonic Force. They put out, you know, Looking for the Perfect Beat. Um, all that stuff was I'm in middle school. Um,
Okay.
Grandmaster Flash and them, Grandmaster Flash, Melly Mel and them, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, which was, you know, this Grandmaster Flash, Melly Mel, you know, Scorpio, all of the whole group and all that stuff. Um, you know, the guys on the block, you know, it's on my grandmother's block. I lived in him. We when I was a really little kid, I think I was 8 when we moved to Hempstead on Long Island, right? Which is basically next door to Queens anyway. It's, you know, pretty much you hop on the highway, go a few stops, and now you're in Hempstead. It's not like it was far. Um, and yeah, Hempstead as as a side note, you know, when you say Long Island, people think, you know, a little bit more money and nicer. It's like, yeah, it's just less projects. Where I was, that's really what it was. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't a wealthy area. It was just better than living in Queens.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's all.
Okay. I got you.
Hempstead was, you know, I remember hearing Hempstead being talked about as like, oh, that's the like Brooklyn on Long Island. Really? Okay.
Is that
That's what
not
y'all think.
Wildhouse?
But so yeah, man, it literally was on a train and some other guys sitting down from us on the train, some started talking about Long Island, and they started talking about Hempstead, and I'm like, yo, y'all hear what they saying? You know, me and my friends were like, yo, what are they? They said Hempstead is like Brooklyn. I'm like, what? Okay, whatever. But it wasn't, you know, it wasn't. It was Brooklyn was wild. Hempstead was kind of wild. So no, it's anyway. I'm saying that because Hempstead. I grew up in Hempstead and kind of in Queens because I was always going back to my grandmother's house, and I
Back
still
then.
had my friends on the block and all of that
Still
thing.
hanging out with that auntie.
Yeah, man, they played and yep. I got to talk to her tomorrow. But they would play also the older guys would be playing. You put the speakers in windows, and you know, little cheap little record player. That's when. Oh my gosh! See, I'm sorry. I'm older than y'all, so those big
And
consoles.
what
Did y'all
2K?
did y'all have those big consoles that had a record player in it, a built-in record player? It was like a picture a coffee table with built-in speakers and a turntable,
Well,
right?
what
Did y'all
the
have
difference
those?
is though. So the difference is, I grew up in Florida, and so in Florida we don't really have projects like they have in New York. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so, and then for me, we've always lived in a house, so we've
Hmm.
always had our separate spaces. Now, did they
Well,
have? They did have the. They did. My parents did have a record player, built-in record player, and it did have two speakers on the side or whatever.
yeah. See.
So I kind of have a vision of what you're talking about, but no, nobody was putting speakers in the windows in any of the neighborhoods.
Well, that's what I mean. Well,
That would
think
have
of
been
it like
frowned
this.
upon.
You put your you so on my grandmother's block. Not it wasn't. I didn't. We weren't in the project either. It was
Okay.
neighborhoods, but it was just kind of semi rough neighborhoods. But so that's what a lot of Queens. There's a lot of projects in Queens, which them projects was rough, like crazy rough, historically rough. But we was in St. Albans where I was. It wasn't it wasn't a project there.
On a project, okay. Just
Um,
individual row houses. Or no. What
yeah,
do y'all
St.
call them?
Albans, Springfield Garden. It was a little
Y'all don't call them
outside.
row houses. Y'all call them what do y'all call
It's
them?
just houses, yeah. It had houses,
Okay.
driveways, detached, mostly detached garages. Your
Okay.
little, we got sidewalks, streets, you know, trees. but still, I mean, you on the block. Y'all should do that. Just look up St. Albans and just zoom in on any random street and say, yeah, that's where that dude say he used to live. But no, you just if you couldn't. Oh, here's the other thing. Everybody didn't have a doggone boombox. All right, let's just get that clear. I finally had a boombox. My grandfather got me a box for Christmas one year. Everybody I know didn't have a doggone box. That's just this Hollywood stuff. Um,
Everybody went
but I
on
mean
the
you
with a beam on
yeah, I
their
mean
shoulder.
it was yes, it's true. Yes, people would carry a radio on the show. Yes, that is true. But it wasn't like a movie where people walking down and it's somebody walking this way and you walking that way and you just you got now yeah we both got radios and we come on no brother no that's that's a bit much.
That's the movie time.
That's a bit much, but there was a lot of crazy boom boxes. I used to want
Hmm.
I had just a regular little plane one you know one cassette and speakers. It was kind of cheap, but I wanted the boombox with a double cassette and a pull-out turntable. I wish if you had one of those right now, oh my gosh, you'd probably sell it for like $5,000 on eBay or something. But literally, you
With the
could go
pull
to
out turntable, huh?
you could go to Jamaica Avenue in Queens, where everything was sold there, everything, and you know you go to any random little electronic store, and you know, where where the people that wasn't us was selling all kinds of stuff.
Gotcha.
And
Gotcha.
yo, man, that was yo. I would pass this one particular store and the window, and they had the best selection of boxes. And yo, they had a big, massive two dual cassette with a fold out turntable in it. Amazing. That was like salivate.
All
Yes, that
right, all right.
existed. That
That
existed.
existed, huh? All right, let's keep it going. So you're getting into hip hop. You're in middle school. What you say, Grandmaster Flash, Melly Mel, they're really
Hmm.
popping on the radio. So when does the bug bite you? Like when do you go, you know what? I think I can write some raps. When does that happen for you?
Well, writing, no, but it didn't hit me until much later. But going into high school, I even have that in a rhyme. Um, when Run DMC came out, that was an other category. It was very different. They look different, they sound different, the music was different, you know. Run DMC came out with the Sucker MCs when that was a single, right? Y'all obviously y'all know I'm talking about albums, single records, right? Vinyl,
Mm-hmm.
wax. We used to call it wax. Um, but Sucker MCs came out and it's on the radio, bro. That was something else. That did it for me. It was the I was going into high school. When I was
Mm-hmm.
going into the ninth grade, that's when it got serious for me. I'm like, and then because rap just took really, it took more of a lyrically, uh, and even looking back culturally, um, because remember I made reference to like funk and disco, you know,
Right.
you still had a lot of disco reference in rap music at that time. We talking 82, 83, right? 83 I went into high school. So 82, 80, there's still a lot of disco. You know, if y'all remember the Fat Boys, the original name of the Fat Boys was the Disco 3,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I've heard that before.
You look how rappers used to dress um pre 83, pre 83. You know, you didn't see big chains and hats backwards, and you didn't really see really much of that unless you was looking at the dancers. If you was looking at the breakers, yeah, that's how they was dressing. But the artists, they look like funk guys. They look like a funk
Mm-hmm.
band. You know, if you look at Africa Bambaataa and Soul Sonic Force, you look at Grandmaster Flash in them. They had leather. They weren't rocking bugged out colors of leather and feathers and big bracelets and spikes and boots. It
Yeah.
was, but you didn't dress like that normally. That was you're an artist. You're a performer. You know, people wasn't walking around dressed like that. Nobody
Right.
dressed.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, you know, unless you was not even pimps. But you know what I'm saying? That when Run DMC came out, that kind of solidified the sh- normal street look, right? And then they made reference to other guys being old school. If you go back and listen to certain Run DMC songs, um, in Sucker MC, in that song Sucker MCs, he Run says, oh Lord, got me trying to think of the lyrics. But right towards the end of the song, something, never old school. Never old school, Run? Oh,
Right.
to us, that was like, oh, that like signified the game has changed now.
Yeah. Like this is something different. Okay.
Yeah. And then so by the time I really started trying to write anything, um, I was probably in like maybe the 11th grade, 12th grade, and I just kept it to myself, which probably a lot of people did. We was more focused on the dancing and DJing. I never
Mm.
I never saw myself as a rapper until like about to leave high school. I never really did that. I wasn't, the rapping at the party, rhyming in the park. I was not that. I was not that. We were um there's a little story attached to it, but me and had one of my best friend at the time. His name is Miguel, and this dude was like Miguel's always been like Mr. Personality, right? And he was in a summer program at Hofstra University. Again on Long Island, Uniondale, which is right next to Hempstead. And in the summer program, it was called Upward Bound, which I think Upward Bound still exists to this day.
It does.
And so they pair the high school kids with a college mentor. And so this particular college mentor was a DJ. And so he introduced, and I would just where Miguel was. I was like, yo, he always tell me what he'd come invite me up to, yo, come out, because they stayed in the dorms and they hung out with the college guys. So I'm like, yo, I'm coming up there, yeah. And that was my first taste of college life. And um, the brother's name was James Buckram, and I reconnected with him too not too long ago. And the dude was a good DJ, man. He would do parties. He did parties at the college. He did parties around his own area and all this other stuff. I think if I remember correctly, Buck was from Queens. And that's how we really got cemented into hip hop then, because now the stuff
Mm.
that we was seeing on TV became really real. And there really wasn't much to watch on TV. Realize that there wasn't, no MTV wasn't playing no rap stuff at the time. I mean,
Right. That was into the
they
90s.
they
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 started
was
playing that.
playing some, because Run DMC made their lot. Them dudes gotta always get their flowers. Um, but
They opened
they
the
was,
door.
yeah, you know. Shoot, if Michael Jackson and Prince had to break down doors to get on MTV, what you think rap had to do? Oh my gosh.
Mm.
But that Walk This Way song, because it was paired with rock, uh,
Mm-hmm.
they got on
I
MTV.
kicked down the door, right?
Yeah, and it just opened the way. And then I got a line in another song that corporations saw all that money to be had. So yeah, it opened up, because
Oh no,
it
yeah.
don't look like this stuff is going away. It's been here for a little while now. So,
People
we
started
got to
figuring
open
out
up.
how to make money.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
It always goes back to the money. Always goes back to the money.
hey,
Okay, so that's late high school, and now so when does because obviously, um, well, you were a part of a group. Tell us the name of the group.
so yeah, the group that ended up getting started was the UBC,
UBC,
United Brothers Coalition.
the
We was
United Brothers
we
Coalition.
was positive young black men that was
so
about positivity and partying.
so at what point does the UBC get started?
um, I have to make a notation.
Okay,
I was very young and naive young man. I was all I cared about was, oh, this is just more parties and some money. This is just more free and hopefully some money. So, and here's the thing. I was going to go to school on track scholarship
okay.
after high school. And that's a whole nother thing. But one thing led to another. Um, I ended up not being able to go to the school I wanted to go to. So I was like, okay, let's wait. And plus, we're doing the rap stuff at the same time, right? By the time 18 comes around, the group had just started, and so I'm like, I'll go to school here, and we'll see what happens, right? And
Hmm.
then so what
So how did
happened
y'all
was
get? How did y'all come together though? Like,
it
what was
was
that?
my friend my friend Tori from high school. He was a grade ahead of me, so it was me, Tori, um, and then some guys that I just met, that were Tori's friends, right? Tori's another guy, Mr. Personality dude. All my friends are. I'm the only one that's not type A. All my friends is like these type A dudes, but so um, two other friends from another high school, Uniondale, again, Ian, Daryl, um, and then we added another guy that was a friend of a friend. That was Keith. Um, so we had me, we had Mike Air, Say Love. Say is Cae. That was his graffiti name, so he took that as his rap name as well. That was Tory. Um, Ian was E Ski, the Spectacular Show. That was his whole rap name. Oh, put the in the front. He was the E Ski Spectacular Show. That was, he's a good rapper, so he could do that. And Daryl was D Nasty, and he was a DJ. I was a little bit of a DJ too. And I basically DJ and dance and could rap a little bit, right? And then my man Keith called himself the Blitz because he was a football dude. So his rap name was Blitz, right? And
Okay,
so it was fun, man. At first, our first signing, our first deal was um with oh boy, I don't know. How are we good with just saying names of people?
sure, it don't bother me.
Well, anyway, if y'all remember a song from the Audio 2 Top Billing, right? Milk is chilling, Giz is chilling. What more
Okay,
can I say? Top Billing. Okay, so I was very far. Well, I can't say very far. I was not a part of the business element of the group because, like I said, I wanted to put my finger up and say I was very, like, just about the fun at the time. I'm 18, bro.
got you,
I'm 18. I'm like, as soon as the dance floor is open, that's where I'm at.
got you.
I didn't care about nothing else. Just let's dance. Let's have a good time. Oh, they fighting. They messed up the party. Dang. All right. That was me, right? Um, and so I knew a little bit, but Tori and Daryl started the company, right? And so the UPC fell up on the production company because realize at this time this is still the beginning era of street business, not illegal, right? So the only what street business is there that's not illegal? Music business.
Okay,
That's it. So you didn't have a lot of small independent um labels. You didn't have a lot, right? What Brothers was doing is that was a part of the trend at that time. That mid '80s, late '80s. Um, you start a production company. You produce a bunch of music, right, for your friends or whatever who you know can rock on the mic, and you make them some music. You record however you can get to record, whether because D made a studio in his house, right? So you can
Gotcha.
make
Okay.
them. Yeah, you just compile. You compile as much um equipment as you can, and you get a mic. You really had like that mic you got right there. Oh my gosh, that's gold, bro. It wasn't no mics like that. You just get you a mic and make a pop screen. Y'all know what a pop screen is?
Gotcha. I know the pop screen
But okay, our pop screens was a wire hanger with mom's old pantyhose. And you put the pantyhose,
man.
you put the pantyhose, you make a circle out of the out of the hanger, twist it up, rig some kind of way to attach it to your mic, bend it so it's in front of the mic, and then now you got a pop screen in front of the mic, and you can close your door, put blankets,
Whatever else you can find to reduce
all
that
that,
sound.
hang it up. Now you got an in-the-house studio. Now you got an in-the-house studio, and yo, you did what you could, man, and
Hmm.
you shop your material, and you try to get a deal. You don't got to do that now, which we gonna get to that, but that's what brothers did. And when you realize that, oh, you can get a deal with the record company to where you're bringing artists, not just yourself, right? You got
Gotcha.
you're getting to publishing and starting to understand the distribution. Well, we weren't distributing anything, but you can sure enough try to get the best kind of a publishing setup that you could. Um, and because again, this is still like hip hop, kind of like toddler, elementary school age. You know what I mean? It's like hip hop is
Still in the
you know,
infancy age. People ain't
yeah,
really figured out the game or
yeah.
anything like that yet.
Hip hop is in middle school right now. Hip hop ain't even in high school yet. Hip hop is in middle school and still in like 1987. Um,
Okay. So when
you
did
know,
y'all record that first record?
um, man, we started to record with Nat Robinson. It was called Bum Rush Records. Um, we thought we were going to sign with their actual label, but it initially was like, no, we're starting our own label, so we're going to sign y'all to our label. And it's like, okay. Um, Short story is didn't work out. It got ugly. Um, and you know, no violence, almost, but no violence. Uh, Now remember, MC Light was on this. MC Light was a part of this because Light MC. Y'all know who MC Light is. Light is Milk and Giz and them cousin. And she was cool. Light would give us a ride to the bus station if we didn't drive up to their place in Brooklyn. Um,
You mean
Light,
she was co-owner of Bum Rush, you mean?
no,
Or she was
she was an
signed
artist.
or
She wasn't on Bummer. She was, oh gosh, who was
okay.
she? Um, I think this is before she signed her big deal because she got a
Oh, okay.
bigger deal. I think she left from them.
But she was
Um,
their cousin. She was the
yeah,
cousin of the people who
yeah,
own Bum Rush.
yeah.
Okay, I got
Bum Rush was a new thing that they were doing. Bum
you.
Rush
Okay.
was that was something else. That was they were we were a part of a few other artists that they were going to put on their new label,
Gotcha.
right? And this is Milk and Giz, their father. Milk and them, I mean, they were, I guess, running it kind of too, but really is their dad. Um, but the details I don't remember clearly, because I didn't go to every meeting, because like I said, I was like,
Just want to go to the park.
that's
What
fun.
time are you sure to the park? What time does the party start? Gotcha. So
But
that was the first. That was kind of like the
that was
first
first. So we got out
signing
of that.
that the UBC was working with. Okay, y'all got out of that one.
We
Okay.
got out of that. We got out of that little hiatus period. And that's during the time I went on a tour because one of Tori and Dow, my guys, the company was called Runaway Productions, and so there were some other groups, right? And we all started to become friends. And one of the artists was named Chase. Call him Chase Smooth. This is the same Chase Smooth that later on, much later in the 90s, Nas mentions when that's in the song, the famous song Ether, where he gets at Jay-Z. Later on, it took me I don't know how many times I listened to the song before I realized, yo, he's talking about Chase. At the end of in a part of the song, he says something about little Chase. All right, because Chase was a little short. Chase was like 5'7", 5'6", or something. And I'm like, oh snap, he's talking about our Chase. So Chase was our friend. And we used to dance together. And but Chase was gonna go on the tour with Jazz and Jay-Z. Jazz had his album. Well, for a singer, I don't know if it's his album at that time, but Jazz was the first rap artist to sign on EMI Records. We ended up being the second later on.
Okay.
There's a lot of overlap and ties. So Chase is one of the artists of one of my friends. Me and Chase become friends, and Chase becomes a dancer for Jazz, right? And whose partner is Jay-Z, a young Jay-Z. And then
So that's Jazz. That's Jazz O. Then you're talking about.
Yeah, Jazzo. And so Chase calls me, and yo, my man, my other homeboy, because they're all from Brooklyn, and I'm in Hempstead. But Chase would come out to Hempstead all the time because he was doing music with us. And he's like, and we go to parties and all this other stuff. Yo, can I need you to come with us, man? Because I forget his name. My other homeboy can't come on this tour. And I'm like, a tour? He ain't coming on a tour? And this other dude has some reason, I don't know why, but I'm like, yo, a tour, homie, whatever it is, you better just drop it and go. Anyway, because I knew the other guy too. I wasn't that tight with him. But Chase was like, nah, man, don't worry about it. He can't go. I'm like, okay. I went directly up to my mother and said, look,
I need to go on this tour.
yeah. Yep. And so it was a short, it wasn't all summer. It was like 2 months. And I didn't know the guy. I didn't know Jazz. I didn't know Jay-Z. And their DJ that they had with them, Ronnie Ron. All I knew was Chase. Because Chase was my man. So I went on a tour with Jazz and Jay-Z. And
What year was this?
1989. This was 1989.
1989.
It was the summer of 1989.
So they weren't top billing. So who was top billing on that tour?
Oh, it was opening for Jody Watley. I should have said that.
Oh, okay.
And the only reason they got Jazz was because Eric B. and Rakim wanted too much money for the tour. Because back then, remember Eric B. and Rakim did a song with Jody Watley.
Okay.
they did a song with Joe. They did a song with Jody Watley, and
But they
so
want to
obviously they want the rap group. They wanted the rap group to
cross
come.
promotion.
Yeah, right. But Avery and Rakim was already established. I mean, I think they came out in like 86, 86, yeah, towards the end of 86 or somewhere like that when Eric and Rock came out. And
So
so,
they was
dude,
like,
they was, yeah,
y'all
they
gonna
was,
have to pay me.
yeah, they was already blown up. And so, yeah, they wanted too much. And so I guess the search was on for who could do it. And so,
And
jazz management was good enough and got him that gig. And so yeah, man, I got free money for a couple months. I got
I
free.
sound like
That's what I call it. It's free money. What you doing? You riding on a bus, camper, whatever, and getting paid to dance in front of people
mm,
and have fun.
and have fun
What
every
what?
night.
Yeah, at 19. What? No, 89. So yeah, I think I was 20. But still, man, it was a great experience. I would not change it. Um,
Now, were y'all doing shows every night, or was it just more of a weekend thing?
nah, it was multiple shows a week. Um, Goodness,
Hmm.
I think we started out in Washington State. We flew way out to Washington and went down the coast through through. We didn't go mid. We didn't go through middle country. We went down. Yeah, we went straight down everywhere. We stopped every state when you start going straight down from Washington and down to California. Then you make that turn. Now you're heading
Arizona.
yeah, Arizona, Texas, all everywhere down the bottom. You know, all the way going into Alabama, Florida, and then down to I think we went down to Miami, up and back to New York. We just drove like a line towards the outline of the United States and back up to New
Okay,
York and back up to New York.
and
It
then
was
back
a
up to
great
New York.
experience, man. I got to see those trees, the big fat wide trees that you can drive through. Lord, I forget what state that was.
The Redwoods in California.
Yeah, that. Um, I mean, I wish I would have had, you know, we did a short promo tour. We did a short promotional tour with my group and the UBC, but it was nowhere as long. We wouldn't know 2 months.
What's
I
that?
think we went on the road for. I think we only went on the road for like maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. As our group. Um,
Oh,
but
okay.
again, I'm skipping. But that was a great experience. I never, I didn't keep in touch with them guys though. Um, Afterward, I think that's a habit I have. I wish I would have kept in touch with Jazz and Ron and and Jay and Jay Z. I never really kept in touch with them. Um, and then my rap career got cut short, but I don't want to skip forward. But it was good, man. One I did run into Jay Z in like 2000, I don't know, maybe 2006 or 2004 or something like that in the airport out here in Orlando. And we got all these people around. But I was walking in and he was walking out, and I was like, oh my goodness. And I used to have a high top then. I am quite bald. Had a lot of hair. And I called out to him. I said, yo, Jay, man, what's up, man? It's been a long time or something like that. And he looked over and I was like, yeah, I ain't got no hair now. And he was looked at me, he just was looking. And I said, it's Mike, man. Remember that summer in '89 tour? And he said, oh, yo, and he was like, yo, good to see you, man, blah, 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 you know. And that was it. kept walking. I kept walking. I had to pick up somebody from the airport, and here we were coming into Orlando for something. And it was just fun, man. I told him, yo, I'm proud of you, man. I'm happy for your success. Blah 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 blah. And he's like, yo, thank you, brother, thank you. And then we just kept it moving. And that was fun. It was, you never forget those things when you do, especially when you're doing it the first time. And then later on that year, we end up getting signed to EMI also. So Jazz was on.
So the tour was 89. So later on in 89, y'all get signed. The UBC.
Yep. I think it was October, maybe October of 89. September.
Let me guess. You have no idea what the business was for that deal.
Who, me? No.
Yeah.
Tori gave me. Say Love, my man. Say Love. He gets that name from graffiti. We were all wrapped up into this whole hip hop world, man. And I was doing a little graffiti too. Yeah, we did some more than just graffiti. We did some things that were not quite legal. But no drugs and none of that stuff like that. We didn't mess with none of that stuff. We were the United Brother Coalition. Positivity.
So y'all signed the deal in 89, and you have no idea what the business was. What did they tell you? You remember what they told you about the business?
From there. I got Tori and Daryl's handling all of that. Those are my dudes. Tori gave me the box. I can say Tori gave me the book. There's a fat music business book.
Yeah, all you need to know about the music business.
I'm not reading that, homie. He gave it to me. I held on to. I had it for a while, and if Tori was here, he'd be laughing and smirking at the same time. It's like, Mike. Dude was a businessman. These dudes were businessmen at 19 years old.
Okay.
But you think about, these guys, these cats was about business coming out of high school. Me
so
coming out of high school.
The business is probably good for them at least, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So tell me about what was.
And I understood. It's like, yo, y'all started it. Y'all are running it. This is, Ian is the MC, right? We all can rap, but we were pretty much like a rap version of New Edition. We were pretty much like a rap version of New Edition, right? Ralph Tresvant was the main lead singer of New Edition, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you got two other brothers that sing, also and I can sing good, right? So
right,
I was starting to come up and rapping. Say Love could rap some, D could rap some, Blitz could rap, the Blitz could rap some. I was hoping to maybe learn how to sing a little bit better because we were gonna eventually touch on that. And so that's what we were, man. I mean, we were kind of like a rap version of New Edition, but also with a kind of a throwback to rap groups, because we came out in a real transitional period of hip hop, which that's a whole good conversation in itself. Is that transition between old school stuff, right, and Hammer type stuff. I can only describe it as that, because Hammer personified the glamour and yes, the money, but the flamboyancy of hip hop, which there really was. I mean, who else? Vanilla Ice. Vanilla Ice was out. was coming out rather. Vanilla Ice was coming out about that same time. It's that the glamorous popish hip hop.
Gotcha. Okay.
What people were calling crossover and selling out, and it was during that we were right during that time. And
Hmm.
and also you had EPMD. Well, EPMD had already been out too. But then you who else? Jungle Brothers, De La Soul. Public Enemy was already out. X Clan. I don't know if y'all remember X Clan. You had the start of that real hard stuff. NWA had come out. Um, come on, we know what they brought.
No, they are. Yeah.
Ice T was already out. Cube had come out. The DOC out of that same NWA camp.
Yeah.
Uh, all that was new stuff. So you got Hammer and NWA, that West Coast, right? East Coast, you still Big Daddy Kane, KRS One. You had hard stuff, lyrical, but still had some positive message in it. So that's what I mean by that transition. It was
Gotcha.
the older coming into this newer, and then now all this money to be made. Oh gosh, remember what's the name? The dude, what's the name? My man, and had remember the funky Cole Medina,
Tone Loc.
Tone Loc, and the dude that was writing his stuff, I forget his name. But there's a lot of artists. Kwame, with the dude that wore the polka dots all the time. He was
Polka
rap.
dots. Yeah.
It was just some fun stuff. It was a lot of fun stuff, but then you had hard stuff, and it was starting to get harder.
And that's
So
not who y'all were.
hip hop was getting harder, right? And because you're coming now into the 90s, and then so it seemed like everybody loves the 90s, right?
90s is the best era, ain't it? The 90s is the best era.
The 90s is the best. Okay, no, the 90s is dope. Look, the 90s is dope. 90s
The
has.
90s is when
You know what I will
hip
say?
hop basically they
You
came
know what
into
I
the
will.
money in the
You know what?
1990s.
You know what I will say? 90s has the best tracks. Period. Hands down. 90s has the killingest beats. The killingest beats. Filled with KHILL.
Gotcha.
beats.
Hey, before we get beyond now, let's go back. So it's 1990. You guys are signed. So when do you guys drop your first single?
I think we went fast because a lot of stuff was already done. Because remember, we was an in-house production company, so all we had to do is go into a studio. not the D Nasty
we
studio.
record this.
Yes.
And we record the tracks.
Yes. So we got done reasonably fast. We did. Was it 2 singles? I think 2 singles and an album in a matter of a couple months, not even.
Now let me before
and
you
2 videos.
Now, did you guys do your own production, or did somebody else do that for you?
No, everything in house. Daryl and Tori. I mean, say Love and D Nasty. Period.
Yeah, so y'all did everything in house.
In retrospect, though, maybe we should have, because they didn't EMI. I don't remember how much money. I don't know how much money but EMI ain't come up, or they didn't come up with much money. Brothers was not paid rich. Brothers was not getting paid. Um, they gave all their money to Jazz. Jazz got all the money. I don't know. Again, I was the guy that's like, we got something. Okay, let's just go.
I
And
made $100. It's cool. Let's go. So let me ask you this. So you sent me the first single. The first single. What did you guys call it? Was it "You Treat 'Em Right"?
You Treat
What was
Me
the first
Right.
single?
Yep.
You Treat Me Right. Okay.
Right.
Now in that particular song, because you also sent me the video. So going back to something you just said, you said you guys are more like a rap group. So in that particular song, I can't. I don't remember his whole name. What is it? EA Ski the Spectacular? Is that the whole name?
Easy. That's
Ski the
Easy.
Spectacular. So
Yeah,
in that,
that's an old school name. I mean, dudes was like, how everybody's little this and little that, and
yeah.
little Dirk and little everybody. Well, there was a lot of skis. There was a lot of ski back then.
So I noticed in that he rapped the whole song, and
Yeah.
then you guys were doing a lot of, it was basically New Edition type dances in the background in that, and I was wondering like, what's going on here? But
That's all my choreography. Choreography was way simple back in the day. That was all I choreographed all of the dancing back then.
Okay.
And because it had to be. I couldn't. The dancing couldn't be wild because everybody couldn't dance wild. I mean, everybody couldn't do some of the freestylish stuff that I used to do. So you got to make it for everybody.
Right, and y'all look like y'all was in sync too in the video. Like everybody was, the arms or together. Like I said, it was really a New Edition vibe.
A good part of our budget, a good part of our budget, that deal budget was dance studio. That was we would trek out to the city to when you're from New York, you call Manhattan, you just call it the city. You trek out to Manhattan, we rent studio time and dance studios as well, and a lot of people did that because now a major aspect is your performance. If you're a group, if you're not like EPMD, De La Soul, them dudes ain't dancing. They have They have dancers, right? They have dancers to do the dancing. Well, this was a 5-man crew. So, and then like I told you, we was kind of like a New Edition, but rapping. So we did it. You know what I'm saying? So we had to dance. We were gonna dance. We were gonna perform. That was one of our goals was to be a full in-house unit
everything
for everything, and
gotcha.
learn to perfect a really good show, a really good performance. And we performed in some bugged out places, bars. Yo,
everywhere.
we performed one of the it might have been the first or the second performance ever. Was a bar across the street from our high school, and just so happens that my social studies teacher was in there. And I was like, oh. And he was like, hey, you guys are here. It was a little embarrassing and uncomfortable, but we did it. No
you had
stage.
to get down what you had to get down.
Yeah. Give
Just
me a good
in
grade.
The middle of the floor, huh?
Give me a good grade.
Okay. So y'all did the first single. Now, when does the album come out?
That same year. Album, I don't remember the month.
So it came out in 1990 sometime?
Yep. Everything was 90.
So
Everything was.
do you remember how the sales
We
were?
like, bah, 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 bah. I was hoping you wouldn't ask me that question.
Is it because you
It
don't
was,
know, or it was that bad?
no, in the beginning, they were good. We charted at, we moved up. I think we were 48 because it's top 50. We got 48. I think the highest we went up to was like 34
This is
on
on
the
the
rap chart.
200 or on the rap charts?
On the rap chart, and it was when it was like a 50. I think it was a top 50. When oh Lord, what magazine?
Billboard usually.
Yes, in the Billboard. Yes, in the Billboard. But then they would also take just that snip and put it in
The
Lord,
magazine,
I
the
can't.
source.
It might have been a source. I still have. You know what? I'll show it to you. I should have brought that. The company paid for a back cover. We had the whole back cover of Source magazine. I forget which. I don't remember what month it was or whatever. But yo, I mean, for a record company that did not know how to handle rappers, because it wasn't no.
Yeah.
I mean, it's jazz, and then we got on later, and that's it. And if you go try to find interviews of Jazz, Jazzo, um, I remember seeing I saw an interview with it was Jazzo on Drink Champs, and oh Lord, I saw that like maybe 2 months ago. Anyway, he was saying how EMI, they really didn't know what to do with the rappers. They just wanted to get in. Basically, they wanted to get in the rap game like everybody else. They were mostly
And they had
rock.
no idea what they were doing.
Yeah. And you know, we did the best we could, man, with what we had, with what promotion we had. And don't let anybody ever tell you that payola don't exist, because payola is real. Payola is real. If you that's not a game. Music business.
They do be paying,
Yeah. 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 Somebody,
huh? Okay.
some person behind a desk told us everybody pay. He said Bobby Brown, Whitney Houston. He's naming. He's like, everybody pay. I'm like, why? They're huge. Well, when they got new stuff,
They pay.
Everybody.
There's a reason why they're on the radio all the time.
So when you can grab the street, that boosts you. That helps you. And our street ground game, that's what brothers did. If you ain't have no label, you just out here. There's a lot of these guys that which was completely different from us, right? None of us was out rapping in clubs and battling dudes on the street, and we weren't doing that. We was a part of the rap scene and the hip hop scene, but Ian was the rapper. Ian did that stuff, right? Ian battled dudes in school. Ian rapped at parties. He did that. I never did that. I helped DJ a couple of places, a couple little parties and stuff like that. But like I said, I just love to dance. So I just would dance.
Gotcha.
And we just went all type of places, man. I mean, when we got introduced to, like I said earlier, when like me and Miguel was introduced to this whole nother world, we hanging out with these college guys. We going to college parties. We in 11th grade, man. So
Going to
we
the
come back
college
to
party.
we come back to high school. We in school now. We think we better than everybody because y'all don't know nothing. Y'all going to these little house parties up the block. We're going to college parties. You know what I'm saying?
But
We seeing DJs that travel. You know, we're getting exposed to stuff that most of our friends wasn't exposed to, and so that caused me to be a little different. You know, um, you might want to get ready to cut me off because I'm gonna start on a tangent. So it
at
was
least
just
you
those
know.
days were very fun, man. Those were very like I said, man. There's maybe some things that I would change, but
We had a good time.
yeah, the 80s was great, man. So when people say, "Oh, the 90s," I'm like, okay, yeah, all right. But that was the time I gave my life. When I gave my life to Christ, when I got saved, I got saved. That's what there was no. I didn't even go back home. I came to Florida. 2 days
Well, hold
later.
on, before we get to there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Hold on,
See,
before we get to Florida. So let's get back to. So we were talking about the album came out, and then y'all charted a little bit, and then so did y'all ride some kind of wave or tour throughout the rest of 1990 after you dropped the album, or did it come out and then it didn't do too much and then it was kind of over? How did that work?
that's kind of it. That
So
last
y'all
one.
dropped now.
That last one, yeah, because we did our when was the promo tour? The promo tour was like spring, I think, maybe spring or summer of spring, I think, spring of 90. Yeah, spring of 90. I think it was spring of 90. And man, I gotta check my dates with my guys again because, dude, once we signed in '89, it was go 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 to get done. It was fast and furious because they wanted stuff done. They wanted stuff done.
They want the
And
project as fast as possible.
yes, they wanted to, because it was rap was a rap was literally a product that it was like the hot new stock. It was like a hot
So they were
stock.
trying to get it in and get it out as fast as possible so they could catch that trend.
Yes. Yeah.
And then once go ahead.
So and I got to talk to my guys about this because I don't know if they want to talk about it. But honestly, a lot of our tracks, some of our tracks were used by other artists that came bigger and stronger.
I was going to ask you about that. So it's funny you mentioned that because I heard your first single, and your first single has the same sample as the Chubb Rock "Treat 'Em Right" single, and so
before that,
I was wondering.
I got the power.
So I was wondering now, is that because I mean, in Chug Rocks, I don't know whose song came first between you two guys. First. I know if we're looking at chronological, you guys had you had it first, unless you know how it is. You record a song and it doesn't come out for a year. I don't know, but technically, as far as producing, you guys had that pretty much same title, same sample, and then if you look at the record a year later. Here comes Chug Rock.
I was about to say
slightly same title. Yeah. Slightly same title. and then same thing, except it went on for rock. You know what I'm saying? That was
Yeah.
probably what I'm assuming. I think that was his biggest hit, right? I think anyway.
Yeah, I
At
guess.
least put him on the map.
That's not my favorite song of his, but yeah, it set him up pretty good. And we
But I
thought
was wondering, is it a coincidence, or I don't know. I don't know if you know,
don't
but
know, brother. This is why I gotta talk to the rest of my guys, because I don't know if you want to be known for the group that had the most songs, um, or that other people used, and their song ended up bigger than yours. I don't know if you want to be known for that, but that happened with Chub Rock. That happened with Vanilla Ice. That happened with that Chill Rob G, the I Got the Power, whatever. That happened with Wu Tang much later.
Wu-Tang. Which
Yeah,
one did they take?
they have a song. I don't know if I got any credit on that song, but there's a song that an idea I came up with Daryl with D Nasty. We were trying to when you're doing rap music, you know the term crate digging,
Yeah.
right? You know, you we weren't necessarily saying crate digging back then, but that's what it was. It is an old term, but regardless, you want to come up, you want to find, because rap is built basically on samples.
Right. Here we go.
So you want to find the illest, coolest, most different. You want to find something and just make something out of it.
Right.
And so, Wu Tang has a song where I don't know how many people even possibly would even notice, but I knew it instantly because it's my same idea that we did previously. They took a sample from the Underdog cartoon and made a song out of it, which is what we did. I was like, "Dude, you could take this." We did that, and it's on the album. It's on our album. And then much later, Wu Tang did the sample. Now it's dope. So, also Rakim, also Eric B and Rakim. So that's like 5 joints that we had. Microphone Fiend, which is one of my favorite songs, but I hated it when it came out. I
Because y'all had
hated
to
it.
use that same sample, huh?
Yeah, I was a hater. I was an official hater. Mark a big H on my forehead. I was officially a hater because I'm like, it's the same sample, but this is taking off like crazy. And I'm like, ah. But then it's like, at the same time, you like the song. Comes on when you in the club. Comes on and you, I'm like, oh, I gotta dance to this.
What was
But
the Wu-Tang? What was the Wu-Tang song called?
that was I forget the but
I forget the name.
yeah, I forget the name of the song. But they used
Okay.
doom 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 doom. I don't know if you know your old cartoons like that, but
Oh,
it's from
I don't
Underdog.
know the old cartoons, but I know that song. I know that
Yeah,
Wu-Tang song.
yeah, we got that.
Okay, I
It's
got you.
on the
I can't tell you the name, but
it's
I
on the
know the
album.
song. Yeah,
It's on our
yeah.
album.
That was the first album too, wasn't it?
Um, what's that Wu Tang first album? I don't know.
I don't know, but I know what song you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, because when I heard, obviously I knew about the Chubb Rock song from when it came out,
Mm-hmm.
but when you sent me yours, that was the first time I heard the UBC, and I was listening. I was like, wait a minute. Like I said, they flipped that sample a little bit different than you
Yep.
guys,
Theirs was faster.
but yeah, theirs is faster. But when you listen to the chorus of the sample, and then you listen to what y'all did in 1990,
Yeah.
man, if they did not get that idea from y'all, it sure sounds like they did. I don't know, but it sure sounds like they got that idea from y'all's song, man. For sure, for sure.
There was okay. Ian had a Eski had a friend. I forget his name, right? And I kind of became cool with him too, kind of. And this friend had a sister, right? This friend had a sister. I was trying to holler at his sister, right? Turns out this sister was trying to be in a rap game too. I find this out. And she somehow, I vaguely remember she had some ties to somebody that was down with Chubb Rock. I don't know if there's any I don't know if there's any connection. I don't know if there's any connection that kind of way. I don't know. But you know, it's music.
It is music. Yeah.
It's music.
Yes, it is.
And you know, you can come up with it is very possible to come up with the same thing somebody else has. It's just that from how I see it, that's a lot of songs. That's a lot of songs.
Well, at least with that Chubb Rock thing too, I think when you look at the title, when you look at the title and the song, you got to be like, that's close. That's I get using the same sample because there's a lot of people who use most of the same sample. But when you use the same sample and when you basically use the same title,
yeah,
you gotta wonder. That's all it's there, you know.
And some of the same punch points. Well, that
Yeah.
old song. Oh Lord, I forget the artist, the original artist. But that bang, you know, and the drum beat, that bang, you know, Chubb goes bang, 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 dum 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 bang, bang. We're not going fast like that, but we have that same bang. We're more slow rhythm. Just rock it in the club, rock it in the car. You know, yo, honestly, man, that You Treat Me Right still sounds dope in the car, bro. It really does. It really does. We had people over and over tell us that back then. It's like, yo, it's written in the it's when you put the, you know, when you just rock it in the because it's a, you know, it's just a nod. It's just a bob your head song. It's not really that much of a dancing type of song. You can dance to it, obviously, but it's a more of a listening bob your head. It's a smooth, you know, story type song.
Yeah. All right, so we get to the end of the 1990. The album isn't like blowing up, and so is that what causes the group to end? Because it was kind of like there's no real money being made, or what was the
no. So I left. It wasn't on purpose. As I recall, I think we were in between performances. We had done a bunch of promotional stuff again. You know, you going on radio and video shows, and I think we did a couple of shows, and then we had like this 2-3 week period. I think a 3 week period, and then what's messed up about it is we were supposed to open up for Kumo D. We were supposed to be on the same ticket, same bill, and that was going to be a big deal. But also, I was sick. I didn't know, but I had like not the flu, like this chest thing going on, like you know. Anyway, it was bad. It was borderline flu, pneumonia-ish kind of thing. And so my mother and my grandmother had really wanted me to leave, come to Florida, give your life to God. not really bothering me bad about it. None of that stuff. There's a lot of things that kind of led up to it. The little bit of money that I did have, I blew it. Um, and so I'm still having to try to conduct business. I did have a couple of job functions within the group. Um, you know, um, or when we were dressy, more dressy looking, that was my job. Like how we look. That was me and Say Love. That was our thing to how we presented ourselves, how we look,
Dress.
how we carry ourselves.
Gotcha.
Um, so there were things like that uh, that you had to line up. You got to get agreements with people for your clothing, and that was part of my job. But I left, man. And, I was broke. I was broke. Um, and so I had to receive phone calls from my friend's house. That's how bad it was.
Mm.
My phone at my grandmother's. I had moved in with my grandparents because my family had moved to Florida um, in '89, and so I stayed behind obviously because what am I going to Florida for? I'm gonna become an entertainer.
I'm gonna be Mike Air, the next big hip hop
Yeah,
star. What you talking about?
yeah.
I ain't going to Florida.
School, school went out the door. School that's like remember it was like, is school gonna work? I'm gonna keep running track. I'm gonna go to school, which is gonna work. And we signed. So school, uh, and I blew the little bit of money. And so my mother called me, and this is my childhood friend, so it's no problem me getting phone calls and making phone calls from his house. Um, we was like that, and so my mother, this one particular time, my mother called me. She tells me about this dream that she had. Um, and so I'm just listening to her, and we finish. She tells me, Michael, this is it. I'm sending you a ticket, um, train ticket, because we weren't rolling like that, so it was a train ticket, not a plane ticket. Get on a train in the morning and come to Florida. And I'm hemming and hawing. I'm like, and I'm like, well, we do got a few weeks, so I'll come for 2 weeks, come back home. And I walk out the house, B. I walk out my man's house, and by the time I get to the sidewalk, this overwhelming feeling. I just start weeping and crying. Um, and I only live like one door away, one house away. So I'm just walking. I'm walking crazy slow. I don't know what's going on with me. Why do I feel this way? Why do I feel this way? What is wrong? And I get to the front door, and I'm like, I open the door. I call my grandma. I call my grandmother, and she's looking at me like, "Yo, what is wrong?" As I look like somebody just died. Right?
Mm.
I'm just crying almost uncontrollably, and I kind of suck it up and get in the house, walk straight to my room, and she comes in. I tell her what happened. This is what my mother told me. I'm offline. Maybe I'll share the dream with you, but you know, that was it. She's like, you gotta come. And so I was like, all right, I'll come for a couple weeks and come back. And my grandfather drove me to Grand Central Station in the morning, and I got on a train to Florida, and I read, uh, goodness, I read Genesis. Uh, I got into, I think I finished through Deuteronomy. All right, I was already reading the Bible off and on for some unknown reason. I was just started reading the Bible like maybe like a month or two prior, and an old Bible I got as a little kid, and So yeah, man, the whole train ride I read the Bible. They know what I was reading. We were on my mom's side of the family. That was like the side of the family that had been in ministry before. My mother always was a singer my whole life. She only stopped singing after, a few years after I was born. And my mother was a part of a group that Andre Crouch started. It was called Sweet.
Mm.
It was called Sweet Spirit. And they recorded an album before I was born. The Sweet Spirit. It's on YouTube too. And they were friends with the Hawkins family. Edwin and Walter. Because I found I have my mother's album in the group that she was in, and yeah, Andre Crouch, and the Hawkins and a couple other people, Walter and Edwin Hawkins, produced some of the songs that they did. So it's a musical history, and so my mother understood, right? She gets it. She got it. But she also understands what the call of God means. And so I got to Florida, man, and
Haven't looked back since, huh?
nah, 2 days later, I'm in a service, and I'm like shocked and knocked and fully arrested, and by the Spirit of God, and never understood what any of that was prior. I didn't even though we kind of grew up in church somewhat. My parents got a divorce when I was a kid, so that's when church life tapered off, right? When I was about 11, right? We still would go to church. I still had my people I grew up with from Sunday school and stuff like that. Some of us are still friends to this day, right? But we weren't going regular, and so there's some crazy stuff went on, but I kind of grew up in church and kind of not. Probably like a lot of people, like most people or whatever. So
So what happened to your? So you left the group, and then so what happens to the fellas back in New York at that time?
nobody knew I left
You didn't even tell the fellas at the time, huh?
for 2 weeks. I disappeared. Now they didn't hear from me, right? So after, I don't remember. They told me I don't remember clearly. But after a couple days, well, Mike, I ain't heard. You know, they, finally went to my house, my grandmother's house, and they told them. But they still hadn't heard from me, so they knew I went to Florida, but I just cold disappeared. And I'm like, I didn't know what am I tell them? I didn't know what to say.
So how long before you reach back out to somebody?
Week two. In week two.
Okay.
And in week two, that's when I told them, I called everybody, and told them what happened. And we had a bond, man. We were, so it's not, they wasn't completely good with it, but they was okay. They understood, right? And there wasn't a bad discrepancy because I was a part of the UBC, not Runaway Productions. I wasn't Runaway. Right. If I would have been, if Runaway Productions, if I would have been a signing part of Runaway Productions, because Runaway Productions had the deal, not the UBC. The UBC was signed to was a group,
production.
an artist under Runaway. Right. So D Nasty and Say Love, they just let me out. They just let me out, right? So no discrepancy with the record company. No discrepancy with the record
Gotcha.
company, right? So they just went on, and I forget how long it was, but they went on a mission. D tells me they went on a mission trying to find somebody that could fill in, and it's like a New Edition. Again, it's just like New Edition. No Bobby Brown. I mean, I ain't trying to compare myself to Bobby Brown. Don't get it. Don't even try to say that. Don't even try nobody to even try to say that. But Bobby left. You got to put somebody else in there, right? Unless you just want to be a 4-man group. But no, that's the look they wanted. You already got the ball rolling as 5-man, and there's promo, there's pictures, and all this other stuff. What's funny is they found another light-skinned dude about my same height with a high top. So
So did they make another album then?
it worked out.
Mm-hmm.
It worked out. They started to. It was about to. They got to that point, and some other stuff happened that I really don't know about. And I think
And
Ian
that
left.
fizzled out too.
Yeah, I think Ian left. And I think they put somebody else in there too. But anyway, it was fizzling. And we're still good with each other. There's still, a couple of little issues here and there between guys. But for the most part, is we good. For the most part, we all good.
So just out of curiosity, did anybody ever make any real money through music, or did everybody ultimately leave the game?
Not that I know.
Everybody
Say Love
ultimately.
is still. Say Love is he. Entertainment is his destiny. This brother. If you knew this brother, entertainment world is his. That's his thing. He never fully left in the entertainment business. D Nasty still makes music for people. He still produces. He's a regular dude though. He works. Um, E E still same thing, regular dude. Um, I think the only person not married is Tori. Same only person not married with kids is Say Love, because he's just, and that's his world, man. He's in that world. Tori, Say is oh gosh, man. He became a marketing guy. Um, he also works for slash with um uh uh, uh Ronnie DeVoe from New Edition. It's funny, all the New Edition references. That's the the thing is, because, well, if you go on Facebook, you'll see some pictures. But um, so he came like friends with these brothers, and got pretty close with Ronnie, and and some other people. He's just like I said, this is his deal. Tori is just that guy. He's savvy, is a very savvy guy, and smart guy. Not that the rest of us ain't. It's just that's you can see what, this is your deal right here. You can tell, if somebody's creative and they're an artist, what you do, just stick with that. That's what, find your money there. Find your path that way. And that's his deal, man. Tori's just that guy. Same thing with
Okay.
same thing with one of my other friends. I mean, this is you. You better stay in this lane.
Okay. Now, so fast forward to now. Now you're giving your life to the Lord, and you've been doing that for since then. So
Yeah.
we were talking beforehand, and you were telling me, you started to tell me about some regrets that you had. What now? What were you? Where were you going with that conversation?
Well, I had some meetings. Some First of all, I had a time where I completely separated myself from anything rap and hip hop. Right, in my early days of really devoting myself, um, and I don't even really like saying devoting myself because it feels like I, asserted myself to I'm gonna serve God. I kind of just walked in, fell into this. You know, I got literally taken from one world and put into another, and then enabled to live in that world in this new life,
Mm-hmm.
which is that narrow path. And so, um, dude, I just was following, man. Um, you know, I just took it upon myself to learn. Um, you know, and so I came from a 98% black world to a probably a 90% uh, uh, Caucasian world, white world. But I had good training. I had good upbringing. So my mother always taught me to know how to communicate in all realms, in all worlds, and wherever you go. Um, you know, slang was only partially allowed in my house growing up. You were to know how to speak properly. Um, so I didn't feel completely uncomfortable around being around mostly white people. Um, because that's where the church my mother and stepfather ended up coming to. It was mostly white, but some good people, bro. I met some really people that I'm still friends with, and so just so happens I started being a part of the youth department and the college age department at the church, right? And so got invited. I'm trying to speed it up here. Um, so there was a group called DC Talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Christian group, and so I got invited. It was a guy that was I was becoming friends with, a couple guys, and his girlfriend um was a PK, a preacher's kid. Her father pastored the church out near the Beeline somewhere, out here in Florida, in Orlando, outside Orlando. And we were going to this concert, go see DC Talk. DC, I know what they're talking about. So we went, and um, so it's the girl's father's church, and we get in, and it was my first. Dang, I'm just realizing this right now, man. I'm just really realizing this right now at this in this moment. When we get to the church, because you had to pay, there was a small little charge, right? I don't remember what it was. I don't know, $5 or something. I don't know. But we came with the pastor's daughter, so we all go in for free. And so it was for me. It was like almost like it was kind of like a flashback to
Mm.
rap days, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
You getting into all events, you going everywhere free. You go, I mean, you know, that's just what it was. And so then, we go in and DC Talk is performing, it's in the church and, you know, part of the lights is up and part of the lights is, the stage lights is up and some of the you know, and the congregation area lights was up and some of it was down, and then so the guys I'm with, they don't understand how I'm feeling about this because I performed in front of a few thousand people before,
Mm.
you know, and it's just not that long ago. You know, at this point, I think this might have been 91, 92. I just got saved in 90, at the end of 1990. October 90 is when I left New York and then didn't come back. So this is like the following year, or maybe a year, not even a year and a half. And so I'm like, with all these white kids, and
DC talk.
and it's talk.
DC talk.
I'm like, so to me, this is really, really, really corny, like beyond words of corny to me, right? But I'm like, this is my, in my mind, this is new world. This is, I'm like, so I'm like, yeah, for them, this is great because the kids loving it. The kids love it, you know, and you know, they're
They were
clapping.
huge back in the day.
Yeah, but this is when they were still performing in churches though. Realize
Okay.
they're still performing it in regular church. Now, this wasn't no mega church that we went to. It was a good sized church. You know, it wasn't a small church, but it wasn't no mega church. You know, it wasn't no 800 seat sanctuary. It was, you know, 1,000 seat. It was no, it wasn't no 1,800 seat sanctuary. It was a regular good sized church. You know, it might have had, I don't know, 200, 200, 300 seats. You know,
Okay.
so it's, you know, that's decent. You know, I say four tops, but everybody's loved it. And Mr. B, period. They had a good show. And in part of their show, they had a beatbox contest. And that did it for me. I'm like, oh, why are y'all doing this? And to me, it was so corny. But they had these little white kids, these little elementary, middle school, high school. It was all youth, right? But they invited the kids up onto the stage to do beatbox. And then they was going to judge it. They was going to have a contest, do the best beat. And then so now the dudes, they could, you know, what's the name? Oh man, what's his name? The main, the kind of like the lead guy, who's still, dude is a dope writer. I mean, honestly, he's a great producer now, still. Uh, Toby Mac, right? Toby Mac he could beatbox. He was alright. He was okay. Um, but and my friend told me, Mike, why don't you go up there, man? Why don't you go up there? And I'm like, are you serious? I told him, man, that wouldn't even be fair. That wouldn't be fair if I went up there. And so he laughed and I laughed. And we end up going out with the group afterwards and going out to eat. So I'm saying all of this because I hung out with DC Talk, and again, I didn't keep up the relationship. I didn't keep up the relationship.
Mm.
Another time, you know, a couple, you know, years later, there's a Super C, or Soup the Chemist, who he's more known for as now. Um, um, we did a journey. Me and my friends went out to one of their concerts and end up hanging out with them after the show with Soup and them. And again, I didn't keep up the relationship. With me, there's been this, you know, this jaded feeling of being a part of entertainment. When I was in it, I you know, I didn't like what I saw. I did not. I have a bad taste in my mouth for the music business, which is really across the board entertainment business. Period. Everybody ain't built for it. Everybody's not cut for everybody's not cut from it. The thing is, it's not like how it's not like how it was, you know. And it's been like that for a long time. You don't have to. Things are way more independent now. We know this, right? You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to. You don't
Yep.
have to. You don't have to be a part of everything that industry does, right? When you need to go to a convention, they really want you to go to whatever, Jack the Rapper, or all this stuff like that is cool. You meet a lot of people, and the business, when you meet a good person, when you meet a person that is really real, because everybody says they're real, but when you meet a person that is really real, that is great. But most, no. I'm sorry. People, uh it's like them movies where you see how the kids are in high school. You see how the kids are in high school, and then you got the cool kids, and you got the nerd kids, and you got the whatever. This is the cool table, and how the jocks treat everybody, and how the cheerleaders treat everybody, and you know, it's like they all jerks, and it's it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. You got people that are nice, but they're only nice because they have a reason to be nice. And when they don't have a reason to be nice, they're just not nice no more. Um,
Mm-hmm.
if people feel like, oh, you're not who I thought you were. Okay, all right, right off. Um, you know, it's 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 a lot of fakeness. It's a lot of falseness. It's a lot of I want to know. I want to find out what you know, and then I judge you on who I think you are. Right? I want to judge you on who I think you are. If you're not a part of this echelon or this group or whatever, oh, you ain't. Yeah, whatever. It's like you're not treated. It's like you're not treated like a person. It's like you're treated like you're a thing.
I'm treated like a commodity.
Yeah,
What can you do for me? And if you can't, then move on.
yeah. And if I don't
Gotcha.
think I'm gonna get nothing, then you know, it's like
I understand.
yeah, man. And a lot of name dropping. I really hate name dropping. People, you gotta. It's like people gotta prove that I know more people than you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I've done more
It's
than you.
that
Yeah,
dog eat dog world.
yeah.
So let me ask you this. We're gonna wrap it up here, but before I get out of here, I gotta know, what do you think about hip hop today? So we're 50 years from the inception, they say. What do you think about the hip hop they're producing today versus what you were hearing when you grew up?
I think there's a lot of toxicity, but at the same time, so many dope rappers. There's a lot of good rappers. There's a lot of good, skilled people. Um, I mean, like, like guys and girls. Some of these are. I can't. It's a lot of. I'll go so far as to say a lot of them are just real good. Um, I wish I could just name a bunch of names. Um, but
Let
just
me ask you this: are you talking secular space, or you
both,
including the Christian space as well?
both,
Okay.
both, both. Especially secular though. Especially secular. There's a lot of. I mean, if what I'm looking at from a really broad scope though, from the whole battle rapper scene to the to the latest kids that just came out like last year, year before, or whatever. And like I said, this toxicity, and there's high levels of the art at the same time, which is like, dang, you know. I mean, we say, when I say we, I mean just rappers. You could be so skillful in how you put words together, but it's like, dang, it's like, what? Listen, what you saying though? What are we talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Just rhyme. I mean, when you find MCs that you just rhyme, just rhyme. That's it. Just rhyme. You don't have to go gutter. You don't really have to. Just rhyme. You know what I mean? That's my mentality now. Yes, for first and foremost, I'm a believer. Everything, God is first. What's in you is what comes out of you. That's Bible. Whatever's in you is going to come out of you, right? So
Right.
if you gutter, God is coming out of you. That's just, it is what it is. But if you're playing a game, because we call it a rap game. If you're playing a game and you just want to sell units and get streams, or how it's going out, you just want to say stuff, and because it's whatever popular, and you just gonna write something and it ain't really you. Well, we know in hip hop that's you being fake,
Well,
right?
they don't care about that no more. They don't care about that no more, Mike.
I know, I know,
They as long as it sounds good on the record.
I know. It's just, when I see talented kids, I see real talented kids, I'm like, yo, I really don't want to call no names. I don't know any. I don't really even know that many names. It's just
It doesn't matter.
I just go to look. I'll go on YouTube and just, okay,
Sure.
let's see. I heard this name, so let me go check him out. I heard this, so
There's
let me
about
just go check him
there's
out.
about 5 names that are good today, right, Mike?
Oh, dog. Yeah, but the
Well, I'm
reason,
talking secular. Now, I listen to a lot of Christian hip hop. I think a lot of those guys are pretty dope too.
yes, but in your looking, in your searching, you see other people that you don't know nothing about.
Yeah.
And then, so I'll click, right? I'll tap that and then see, oh, this is nice. This guy got some skill. Then you see somebody say, you know what I mean? But I see a lot of people that got talent. And I just like, I can't listen to you. I don't want that going in my ear, man. I don't want all of
Yeah.
this going in
I agree.
I don't want all of this going in my ear. It's like, you can see this. If people would only dig and understand, people say, oh, I don't listen to the words. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Your brain does.
Yes, yes,
Your brain knows all them words. Your
yes.
brain knows all
We
those
can
words.
we can go we can go purely science, and we can go spiritual. We can go science and spirit. It does affect you.
Yeah.
It does affect you. It's your diet. It's your mental, spiritual diet. Do we not believe that there's a real spiritual world? So we don't think that those things affect the spiritual world?
Well, I
Clean.
think that people don't necessarily, because when you look at today's society is about essentially doing what makes you feel good. And so as long as it makes you feel good, you don't worry about
Mm-hmm.
the consequences of it. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Sugar
And
makes me feel
so
good. Sugar makes me feel good, but if I keep eating too much sugar, I'ma die. Right?
right,
It's gonna
but
kill me.
when it comes to what we, people are all about doing what they want to do. and enjoying what they want to enjoy because that's what I want to do right
Yep.
now.
And you're gonna
And I
walk
don't think
yourself.
about the consequences of it. I
And
don't
yes.
worry about the consequences. I only worry about doing what I want to do now because that's what I want to do right now.
Mm-hmm.
And any consequences I worry about later.
And we make excuses for it. It was what I
We
mean.
do.
It's we definitely do.
And then too, I think we got to remember that people aren't really in touch with God anymore. They're in touch with what they refer to as spirit.
Yeah, they think
Whatever
they
that
are.
is. I don't know what the spirit is, but
They think they are because
mm,
it's their truth. They think they are because it's their truth.
yeah. So
And
I don't need a
you
church.
break
I
all of
can
that
do
down.
God at my house. Yeah.
So that means it's your idol. If it's your truth, that means it's about you. And if it's about you, it's not really about God. It's your truth. So that equals your idol. If we just
Mm,
if we think things rationally through, think it think it think it through its logical conclusion. Don't just stop because, like what you said, this is how you feel. Okay, all right. If you feel this is how you feel. But when somebody touches on how you, if somebody kind of, I don't like to say word challenge, but I don't mind being challenged because I care about what's true. I didn't start all of this. I didn't, I don't make the rules. I believe God makes all the rules. If he's the if he's the first, above and beyond and before everything, and if there is one creator, then he gets to set how things are supposed to be, right? We change stuff and then we get familiar with it, and then to us that's what becomes real and what's true, but it's not the original. So if the originator judges us on what he says is original, but we're not doing original, then I think we're in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
mm.
I think we're in trouble because if I make the rules and then you don't play the game according to the rules, I don't know about you in your black household, but in my black household, if we got a game, because we play a lot of games, if you don't like kind of some of the rules in a game, we we change it up and we play how we want to play, right? But if Parker Brothers, you know, come in there and they say, nah, man, y'all ain't playing right.
You'll shut that down.
You can't go on Jeopardy and be like, that's not how I do it at home. You
I'm
can't do that.
sorry. Well, we got to
You
switch
can't
this
do
back
that.
up. I got you, man.
I got.
I got
This
you.
is one
Well,
thing I want to. One
I
thing I want to
agree.
share. One thing I want to share because
Go ahead.
as thinking, like knowing I'm coming today, and I'm like, you know what? There's a lot about manifesting, right? We talk about we want to manifest, and in church, out of church, everywhere. You know, we believe our words are powerful, right?
Mm-hmm.
God has a huge emphasis on the power of words. He spoke, and things became what was in his mind. Only God has the ability to do that, right? If he wants to extend that to us, that's fine. We can speak, but if it's not God's will, it ain't happening.
Right.
So, aside from that, as a society now, and especially coming down to black culture, we believe in what we say and manifesting what we say. Yes, we about the hard work. Yes, we about to put in the work. We want to speak positive. We don't want no negativity around us. Blah 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 blah. how does that reflect in a lot of music that we like, though? This looks a little hypocritical, don't you think? I just, I just,
Hmm.
I just picked up on that. How does all of that positivity and manifesting and no negativity, how does that reflect on some of the music that we like, though? Shouldn't that mean that?
It doesn't.
Shouldn't
If
that
you look
mean
at
a
my
lot of
mainstream, it doesn't.
that? That means most of our music should be positive. That
Should be,
actually means all the music should be positive.
or at least the majority of what you hear anyway.
Yeah, that means that if we feel like this negative music is negatively affecting our community, our kids, our whatever, our mental health is a huge deal now too. Shouldn't we be shutting that down? Don't we have the ability to do that?
It,
Radio, who even cares
unfortunately,
about? Do you listen to the radio?
I don't. But here's the thing about
But we
that
don't even
though.
care about
The
radio.
well,
You
here's
listen,
the problem
you
though.
choose what you want to listen to.
You
Now,
do, but here the problem is it goes back to it's money and it's control.
yeah,
And so when it comes to the money and the control, if we're being honest, number one, we even though we produce the music, we don't control the music,
we
right?
control it a lot more
There's
now because you got so many
no, we
you got so
don't.
many independents. There's a lot of
That's the
independents.
problem, though. But everybody is chasing the bag from four companies,
Yeah.
right? Universal, Interscope. Well, no, Universal I think and Interscope are the same now, but I can't think of all the names. But it's basically four companies, right? Those are the four major companies that run the entire music industry. And while there's a lot more independent labels, the independent labels do well on their level,
Hmm.
but they don't do well enough to affect the overall culture, right? The overall culture is still being driven by the Interscopes and the Universals and the Atlantics, right? So that when you look at the artists that are on the radio, all of those artists are still attached in some way, shape, or form to the four major record groups.
Mm.
So that's what I mean when I say we don't really have control from an ownership perspective. And then number two, when you talk about money, the biggest money is driven from the toxic music. And so, because again, we don't have any control,
Mm.
it leads us down a box where, yeah, on an independent level, like I think about like a Lecrae, he has this whole Reach Records thing, right? And he
Hmm.
does really well with his Reach Records, but his Reach Records is limited, you know?
Hmm.
He did sign a major deal again with one of the four labels,
Yep.
and when he did that, he got himself on the radio for a little bit, but he ultimately realized how much he didn't like the machine, and he left the machine, and now he's not on the radio.
Mm.
So
Yep.
it's that control. It was I did a
Yep.
video a couple weeks ago, and one of my biggest criticisms of 50 years of hip hop is 50 years later, we've identified at least what 4 or 5 individuals who we say have made who are worth, I should say,
The
over
billion.
$500 million in hip hop, right?
Hmm.
A couple
Up
of
to the billion.
billionaires and
Yep.
a few others. But yet there is not one black label that controls their distribution and their manufacturing and across the world. There's not one.
Yeah.
Every major
The,
black company
the
is
distribution
attached
side.
to one of the four majors,
Yeah.
right?
The
And then the
distribution is the
guys
biggest.
who have those hundreds of millions, none of them, or I should say all of them, for the most part, when they go to make a new project, they chase a bag from the four major companies. And I think so from me, as much as we've done in hip hop, I think our biggest flaw is we have never made our own system. And the idea that we couldn't, to me, maybe there's something I don't understand because I've never been in the industry. So maybe there's something I don't understand about the industry as to why we can't do that.
You can.
But to me, it's been our biggest flaw is that we haven't.
I'm plugging in the
And
laptop.
it's
Oh,
been our biggest
I was
flaw that we
no.
haven't.
Mm.
I got you. It's been our biggest flaw that we haven't. And for me, that's my biggest criticism of hip hop is that we haven't taken what we quote unquote belongs to us and made it ours from a financial standpoint.
Yep.
We're still individual people making a couple 100,000 for some, making a couple million for others. Every now and then the guy who makes a couple 100 million or whatever the case may be, but nobody's reaching back and going, now let's take control. Now let's build our own system, run our biggest artists through our own system so that
I
we
believe it's
are
coming.
now the major benefactors.
I believe it's coming.
You think so?
And I believe it's coming, and that I believe that it's coming, and that day is almost here. When
I'd be
you got to
surprised.
realize. Oh Lord, I wish I could remember who was saying it, but somebody gave the example of a Drake type of artist that is like so ridiculously big. He don't need nobody. He don't need
You
nobody.
don't.
You just yeah, and it's the I guess it would be compared to like an infrastructure, right? Developing the means to do what what those huge labels do, right? Is that's pretty much here. It's possible. I mean, we know that we know record labels have been dying for years, and at some point, it just has to. It just. I don't think it'll go away, but their strength is waning, because of what the regular artist can do, all the way up to the Drake type of artist. If you just, there's no reason when these artists realize, this was part of what I can't think of who I was listening to say this, but when these artists realize that you really don't have to go the major route at all, if you're willing to do the work, no.
And that's the problem. I don't think most people are willing to do it.
Yeah, because the labels, that's still the fast track to get, to get moving, and to get everything out there, everything, all your, your marketing, all your product, you know, and but dudes, you gotta you treat it like an entrepreneur, because I mean, you coming into rap now, yeah, man, you're an entrepreneur, and you have to think of it that way, because if you're gonna make any money, you gotta perform how it's always been. You gotta perform, and especially now, you guys have merchandise. You gotta have products. Um, and you gotta get creative. Get creative with your products. And like you said about, people reaching reaching back, it's there are those that are out there willing to teach, and it's just that the young artists, got to be willing to learn, and
Yeah.
not always want to take the shorter route. You know what I'm saying? It's like, think of it like civil rights. Think of it like fighting for civil rights. When the bus boycotts, yo, you just had to take a loss. You had to take a loss, but but in the end, it's worth it. We
Worth
can't
it
get
in
on.
the end, yeah.
We're not getting on the bus.
And that's
We're not getting on the bus. Just
yeah.
do what it takes to get to the real end game. And it's, like you said, everybody ain't willing to do that work because you don't have the that mindset to do it. You know what I'm saying? You made reference to the bag. The bag is what's at the end of the day. You just want the bag, right? No,
That's everybody want the bag. That's the problem.
right. I mean, but like I said, okay, like I've been saying all night. Well, dude, when I was 18, 19, just want the money in
bag too.
the money in the party. No, the money in the party. The money in the party. But at some point, you start getting tired of the party. I did. Honestly did. I honestly did. We got to the point where we ain't all going. Who's gonna go? If it's some industry, whatever, right? You gotta show your face. You gotta be there, right? Who's gonna go? Everybody didn't want to go. Because dude, how many parties are you gonna go to? It starts to become the same thing. And
same songs too.
Yeah. Yep. If they play more our stuff, maybe we'll go. How about that? How about that? You go.
All right, man. I got you. We're gonna wrap it here, Mike, man. I appreciate you, Mike, for joining me, man. Listen, man, this has been my guy.
Thanks for
no problem, Mike. No problem. This has been our guy, Mike, man, the UBC. I'm gonna make sure to I'm gonna drop a link to that first single. We were talking about that first single. That sounds awfully lot like Chubb Rock. I should have put both of them in there, Mike.
You know what?
I'm just gonna drop the UBC link.
A quick note about the second video, the UB style.
Oh yeah, what's that? Oh yeah.
UB style sample also. Same thing. I Got the Power came out after.
UB style.
The video came out after. Go and look at that. Go look at that I Got the Power video.
Okay. And check out the UB style video.
Look at our video.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out, Mike. I'm gonna check it out, man. The UBC, they was ahead of their time. That's what it was, man. They was ahead of their time, man.
Yeah.
But Mike, man, we appreciate you for joining me, man. We're gonna close this out because Mike gonna keep us talking, man. We already did 2 hours. Mike gonna keep us talking. We gotta keep us talking, man. But Mike, thank you for joining me. I thank y'all for listening. Please like, subscribe to the channel. Of course, everything is a brother with questions, man. I am your host, B. man, and I am out.